Hello viewers, 4DIYers here, back from the tutorial video for everyone. Now in this particular video here I'll be doing a demonstration on how to remove the ear clamps which are found on a variety of different applications throughout the automotive and small engine world. Now these hose clamps here, as you can see, the ones that for this demonstration are a single ear hose clamp. And you can also get a double ear hose clamp as well, which would have the ear on the one side here and one on the opposite side as well. Now these are crimp clamp, a one-time usage. Now these hose clamps can be found on a variety of different applications, whether that being on a fuel system, even a coolant system, vacuum lines, or hydraulic lines. Now the first method which you can use to remove these clamps would be having the correct tool. Now it is a similar cutter as to what a side cutter or a bullnose cutter would be, and this is also a tool which is used to actually crimp these in place as well. Now with that tool there, basically the exact same principle. All you have is you'll have the crimp jaws in the one portion of it, and you also have a cutting jaws in the other portion. Now you can go ahead and you'll have to go in and then snip the center of the ear, which does release the tension on this clamp, so you can spread it and then remove it off the hose. Now, in this scenario here, I don't actually have the correct tool, and they are a specialty tool. You can either use a set of bullnose cutters or you can use a set of side cutters. Now, again, same principle. You can go ahead, go in from the side here, and just clip the top ear like so. Or if you have a better angle at it, you can go ahead, say from the top side here, and then go ahead and cut that center of the ear. Now, with both those methods, either having the correct tool or using these cutters, there usually are stainless steel, these little ear clamps, and they can be very hard to cut just using these tools. Now the other issue is that there isn't always a lot of room to get these in there, and you can't always get the correct leverage in there. Now just to show you a close-up here of when that ear is cut, you can see what happens here, because they are under tension all the time. It would be normally like that in the closed position, and once you cut that ear, it does spread apart. And when you do have that hose, say, in there, can go ahead and then spread it open like so and then pop the hose out. Now as for another method which you can also use in order to remove these clamps is a Dremel with just a small abrasive blade on there. Now for this application here, I would not recommend using it on any liquids that are flammable such as fuel, because this will create some heat and there can be some sparks which do emit off when cutting this, therefore you can cause a fire. And when I did remove this clamp here, for the example I showed you that's cut already, I did use this method as well. Now for this application here, I just pulled this off my car, and this was found on vacuum lines. Here's when the Dremel is running, or even if you do have another rotary tool. The Dremel is just basically a brand name, but it is a fast turning rotary tool. Again, so we do have the abrasive attachment on here. We do have a arbor in order to hold that abrasive blade. Now you do have to be careful of these blades as well, because you can get them jammed up or they will heat up and fly apart, so you always want to be careful with that. You want to have the proper safety protection when using these type of tools. Now basically what we do here is once it's on, we'll go ahead and then cut it right straight there, same area where we would normally cut it, either with using a mechanical type cutter such as side cutters, bullnose cutters, or the appropriate tool which is intended for these. And next what will happen there is it'll release the tension and it'll pop open, and we can just simply spread it off the fitting. Now once you've cut it, and as you can see, it has sprung open there on its own, so what we'll do here is we'll just simply go ahead, split it apart there, as you can see. So it's kind of put an indentation in the hose as well there, so sometimes it may be a little hard to remove. Then once you take that off there, you can then go ahead and then pop the hose off. Now the hose may be a little extra work to pop off, but you can work it back and forth. Now the reason why I like this method is because if you do have a lot of these plastic fittings there, what can happen, these fittings can fatigue over time, or even just considering they're just plastic in general, they're not normally as strong as a metal fitting. And what can happen here is when you are going with a set of side cutters as well and kind of rocking it back and forth, you can actually crack these fittings, or other instances too, you may even slip and then cut the hose as well using the side cutters. You might make somewhat of a mess of it. So this is why it is a lot easier to do it with this Dremel method. But as I mentioned before, I would not recommend it on any substances that are flammable. So just before my final sign off here, I just want to make one more quick note, which I normally forget to mention in my videos. Don't forget to check out my Facebook page. I'm always uploading photos there. Whether that's current or past projects of mine, and I'm also uploading photos of either maybe you have a vehicle you're working on or some other project you're working on in your garage. If you definitely want to submit that so I can share it with all the viewers, don't hesitate to, or even just a project photo that you've done using one of my tutorial videos. That would be greatly appreciated. Now that concludes the rest of my tutorial video. If you have any comments or questions, please don't hesitate to post them below. Also, please subscribe to my channel and like my video. Thank you for watching.